If you've been wondering how to actually use AI to generate winning ads instead of getting that same generic AI slop everyone else is putting out, then this video is exactly what you need. Because after analyzing thousands of ad creatives with Segwise, we've built a system that's able to generate a full batch of winning creatives in minutes, replicating the frameworks that the highest performing ads are all using right now. And today, I'm going to show you how to make hit creatives using this workflow. All of it will be built from the actual performance data, brand context, and competitor signals already inside my ad account. So let's get into it. First, I want to quickly show you the 3 things that Segwise's creative generation agent uses to make your creatives. Because this is the whole reason the ads it produces are different from what you'd get from any other generic AI tool. What you're looking at here is Segwise, which is an AI-powered creative analytics and ad generation platform that connects to your ad networks, pulls in all your creatives into one place, tags every element of these creatives, and uses that data to generate new creatives or creative variations for you. The first thing the agent uses is your winning tag patterns from the performance data already in your account. So that's basically your hook styles, the CTAs, characters, visuals, audio, and the text on screen that's been driving your best ROAS or conversions over the last few weeks. So to show you what this looks like, I'm going to take you through a couple of tags. This is a tag report for the headline text. You can see the headline text being sorted by spend. Over here, you can see each of the tags for the headlines that are being used across Segwise ads. If I was to look at image headline text, then that's easily available here as well. So as you can see, these are the different types of headline text. Segwise uncovers, enter Segwise, so stop guessing. Everybody talks about. So if I was to click on this, you can actually see what the headline is on this particular creative. You can also see the performance that is mapped against each of these tags. So I can see the spend against creatives that have this tag, which is this one, the CTR, which is 1.5% impressions. If I was to sort this by CTR, then I can see that 2.5%, which is our best CTR, is on this tag, which is somewhere in those 50 ads as a winning pattern. This is the creative for that tag. Over here, you can see the impressions for that. It's only 353 because it's been only a couple of days since we launched this creative. There are 0 installs over here because we're not an app. So I can actually go ahead and edit the table also. I can remove installs from here and keep the metrics that are relevant. I can also add other metrics that are available to me. These metrics can be pulled in from your ad network or your MMP as well in case you have an app. These are what your tags look like. I'm also going to show you like problems highlighted. So if you can see over here, these are a bunch of problems that have been highlighted in our creatives that has been tagged by Segwise's AI creative tagging agent. If I click on any of these, I can see the creative in which this tag is. I can also see the performance of that creative. So I have my spend on that. I have my CTR. I have my impressions. I also have installs, but I don't need installs over here because this is not an app. So I'm just going to remove that from there and I'm going to add conversions. So I'm going to add cost per conversion here and you should be able to see the cost per conversion for that as well. And I also have IPM and CPM. So you get the gist. You can see all your tags in a bunch of reports that you can generate. And you can also map them to their performance. So you should be able to see your tags and performance side by side. The second thing your agent uses is your brand context. So to get to your brand context, you can go to your settings over here and go to brand. This is where you upload the stuff that makes your ads actually look like your brand, your colors, your fonts, your logos, and any reference creatives you want the agent to learn from. This is super important because most AI generated ads have that generic stock photo look or that glow that people just scroll right past. But when Segwise has your brand context in as much detail as possible, the output actually looks like your brand, not some random AI generated ad that could belong to anyone. Now the third thing, it uses your competitor data as well. So to go to competitors, I'm going to go here. And over here, you can see the whole competitor insights section. Over here, you can see the discovery tab and the following tab. In the discovery tab, you should be able to see the latest ads your competitors have uploaded, their longest running ads, and the most impressions their ads have gathered as well. If you've added competitors, the agent is also tracking what's working in their ads and using those patterns when it builds your creatives. So you're not just coming up with net new concepts or variations on the basis of what's already working in your data, but you're also building on the angles and patterns that are working across your competitors and in your category. So by the time you get to the generation section in Segwise, the agent already knows what your winning patterns look like. It knows your brand and what's working for your competition as well, which means it knows exactly what to make for you and what to avoid. That's the foundation of all of this. Now let me actually show you the fun part, which is the creatives built by the agent. So this is the creative generation agent, which is where the actual generation happens over here. You can see all the creatives that Segwise has generated for you based on your data and your competitors' data. When I say your data, it's your winning creative patterns. You should be able to see all of it over here. There's also a section for adding creative controls here. If I go click on this, I can set my generation outputs. So I have a schedule of Tuesday. Every Tuesday, the agent runs and makes me new ad creatives. I have put in a limit of 20 statics per week, and I want 10 video briefs every week as well. I can also upload a brand deck if you have that handy. This is something you can do instead of manually putting in a lot of the entries. If you have a brand deck, we will pick out all the context from that and plug it in into the creative control or the brand control, and you can then build on top of that. What's also really important for you to do over here is adding screenshots of your app or videos of your app, which would work as B-roll. So a lot of your video ads and your statics may have app screenshots, or you may be using screen recordings of your app or video that you already have as B-roll. You can actually go ahead and add all of that over here. Our AI agents will watch that, will tag that, and then stitch it together in the most relevant ad creative possible. There's also a section for creative constraints over here. So in case you have learnings from your previous creative data, I'm sure a lot of you already are running these ads. So you know what works, what doesn't work, what are the learnings that you've accumulated over the last few months or years, and you have built a system for yourself, which is a set of guidelines that you live by and you operate within for your brand. You can add all of that over here. And there's also learnings from rejection. So in case you are rejecting any particular creative, we capture all of that as well, and you can add it yourself over here also. So in case you see something you don't like the direction the agent is taking while making your ad creatives, you can add that as a learning for the rejection, and the AI agent will then factor that in every run as well. Right now, Segwise just generates static ad creatives and video briefs. Video generation is in beta, but it should be coming out in the next couple of weeks as well, where we'll be generating AI UGC videos to start with, and animations, and then even like product videos and a lot more animated high production stuff. But statics is honestly a really good place to start with AI generation, because it's fast, it's high quality, and you get clear results back quickly without waiting for days or weeks for a designer to put it all together. Now, here's where Segwise is generally different from every other AI tool out there. You don't have to write a prompt for a brief to get your ads, like I said. So the agent will run automatically and generate the briefs for you also. Because the agent already has all the context from your account, your brand, and your competitors, it just needs to know two things from you: how many creatives you want each week and which day of the week you want them dropped into your account. You set this creative control once and you're done. If you want, you can keep iterating on it week on week, month on month, and the agent keeps getting better. But other than that, every week on the day you've picked, the AI agent will auto-generate a fresh batch of static creatives for you, which are built around your latest winning tag patterns, your brand, and your competitor signals, without you having to lift a finger or write a single prompt. As you can see over here, there's a bunch of creatives that Segwise has already generated for Segwise. We're actually running a few of them as well, but you can see the kind of quality that goes into putting these creatives together. And each of these creatives are data backed based on some insight either embedded in your data or in your competitor's data. So if I were to actually open one of these creatives, you will be able to see the data-backed rationale to these. So authority at scale wins. The performance marketing peer benchmark tag dimension holds the highest spend per network observed in the last 7 days, anchored by headlines implying systematic AI analysis of massive creative volume. And CTR for this bucket reaches 2.63%, which is the top cluster in the library. So there's very sound reasoning that actually goes behind this creative that's been generated for you, and you should definitely run a bunch of these to test out and see if these work for you or they don't work for you. You can actually open these creatives, and if you like something, you can bookmark it as well. So I'm just going to go in the bookmark section and show you some of the creatives that we've just taken live. So this is something that we took live recently. I did make a small tweak to it. I changed the headline. All your creatives get saved over here. Everything that you shortlist comes up in this bookmark section. So we've got this creative about catching creative fatigue. There's creative A, creative B. You bench this one, you scale this one. Segwise picks the winner every time. So if I was to open this, you can see the data-backed rationale over here. The core idea is mapping Segwise's core transformational benefits, scale winners, kill losers, onto a trading card face-off format of top-performing visual strategy the brand hasn't used. giving it an entirely new ownable visual lane. The data bag rationale on this is that transformation beats features. Reference ads that lead with transformation outcomes outpace feature list ads significantly. Testing 10 plus creatives, which is a creative we're running, pulls 2.26% CTR versus 0.66 CTR for creative tagging feature list on comparable spend. The card format bakes the transformation scale versus skill directly into the visual structure. Then there's a high contrast visual validation as well. There's UA manager psychology as a reasoning, and there's a category gap. So like none of Segwise is 25 past concepts, and none of the top reference ads have used a 2-panel face-off collector card aesthetic. No known competitor runs this format for creative analytics. It's fully uncontested visual territory. This is great, right? Like, because none of our competitors are doing this. It's slightly embedded in our data, and it's a visually new format that we could go ahead and try. So this would be a great creative to actually experiment with, to talk about creative fatigue and how Segwise helps you automate creative fatigue detection. Alongside each of these creative, the agent actually shows you the reasoning behind why it built that and the way it built it. So this means that you're not just getting a creative, you're getting a data bag reasoning behind it, so you can see whether the agent actually understood your account or not. The leverage here is pretty crazy because of how fast all of this happens. In the time it would normally take for a designer to make one of these statics, you have a full batch of creatives ready for testing, and the next batch is already scheduled to drop next week on autopilot. So because I've set it at 20, I get like 20 new creatives every single week, and that's a huge advantage when you're trying to keep up with how fast Meta and TikTok go through creatives right now. By the way, if you want to run this exact process on your own account, you can start using Segwise for free by clicking the first link in the description. It connects to your ad networks in a few minutes and starts tagging your creatives automatically, so the agent has all the data it needs to generate from. Anyway, let's keep going. Now, once your batch of creatives is in front of you, you don't have to actually keep what the agent gave you exactly as it is, because you can edit any of these ads just by typing out what you want changed. For example, just in this creative, I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of changes over here. You already have a bunch of options over here. You could either use one of those or you could write your custom prompt. So over here, I want to make sure that the visual inside creative A is slightly different, and let's see what it does. Just like that, if there's something you want to change on one of these ads or creatives, like the headline, the background, color, the CTA, or the layout, you don't have to go back to the agent or get a designer to redo it. You literally just type what you want changed and the creative gets updated automatically, as you can see over here. So as you can see, it's retained the card visual exactly, but inside that, the visual, it's changed it. You can clearly tell that that's a different person, and the ad creative is very different from what creative B has, and it kind of gives you a comparison on like CTR, ROAS, and fatigue levels. So there's like high fatigue on this and there's like low fatigue on this at the moment, so you'd want to go ahead and scale that or go ahead and replace creative A. That edit basically took maybe a few seconds and the rest of the creative stayed exactly the same. The brand context didn't change, the layout didn't change. The only thing that changes is exactly what you asked for. Once you've got your creatives or your variations dialed in, the last step is getting them out of the platform and into your ad accounts. To do that, you just have to go to the export section, or rather just click on download all aspect ratios over here. You can pick and choose whatever aspect ratios you want this creative to be generated in. So I'm just going to actually take 4:3 for Instagram. I'm going to take 9:16 as well for Instagram, because Instagram will run this as like a story, as like a reel as well. And I'm going to go ahead and generate these aspect ratios. So you can export each of these creatives in whatever aspect ratio you need. You're getting ads that can go straight into Meta, TikTok, Google, Snapchat, or whatever other network you're running without having to resize anything or without giving it to your designer to resize it for you. And it gets better. Once these creatives go live, the agent keeps getting smarter. It monitors it constantly. It'll tag this and it will learn from it. As soon as these new ads start running and getting performance data, Segwise is automatically tagging that data and adding it back to what the agent already knows about your account. So the next time you generate a batch, the agent has even more data to work with. This means your tag patterns get sharper and the ads it produces get closer and closer to what's actually converting in your account, or even converting more than what is converting in your account based on your current creative stack. That means every batch you generate produces a better output than the last one. As you can see over here, all of them have been resized now. You can see the clear size difference. All I'm going to do is go ahead and download it, and I'm going to run it in the next creative refresh cycle for Segwise. If you want to run this process on your own account, you can try Segwise for free by clicking the first link in the description. Just connect your ad networks, let Segwise and Segwise agents pull in all your creative data into one unified dashboard. Let it tag your existing creatives, and you'll have a creative generation agent ready to start producing data backed creatives and creative variations for you within a few hours. You can get started for free by clicking on the top link in the description. And if you want to learn more about the exact system I just showed you with more emphasis on automating 90% of the process, then check out this video next.